Hello and welcome back to Primetime Guitar in the Primetime Guitar series Must Know Monday. Today I'm going to be showing you 5 different shell voicings with the root located on the heavy E string, the 6th string, that are commonly used in jazz and big band style comping when you hear stuff like that. Usually faded off in the background, but they're really essential to help you see these arpeggios on the neck. These shell voicings are. I use them all the time as like this little mental image in the back of my head to keep me on track to where my arpeggios are. It's all great to learn, so let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so before we get started, I'm going to go over a little definition of what a shell voicing is. A shell voicing is a chord that contains a root, a 7th, whether that be major, minor, or diminished, and a 3rd, whether that be major or minor. So that's the basic definition of a shell voicing. I'm going to have some 5ths in some of these. It's not a big deal. Alright. The first thing I'm going to show you is I'm just going to do all these off the 5th fret, all out of the key of A. Here's an A major 7. I'm going to take my index finger, put it on the root there at the 5th fret of the low E string. I'm going to take my ring finger, put it on the 6th fret of the D string. I'm going to take my pinky, put it on the 6th fret of the G string, and my middle finger and put it on the 5th fret of the B string. It sounds like this. And I'm blocking that A string with the fleshy end of my finger there, keeping it kind of muted out. And I'll go over that voicing one more time. That's my index finger on the 5th fret of the low E string, my ring finger on the D string at the 6th fret, my pinky on the G string at the 6th fret, and my middle finger on the B string at the 5th fret. And there will be tabs to these voicings in the description below. It'll go to a Dropbox. You just click that link and it'll take you right there. Alright, so the next voicing is a minor 7 voicing. I'm going to start with my middle finger on the root, which is at the 5th fret of the low E string. Then I'm going to play the D string at the 5th. I'm going to bar with my ring finger across the D string, the G string, and the B string, all at the 5th fret. And again, muting that A string with my fleshy part of my finger. So that's root note at the low E string at the 5th fret with my middle finger, and then barring with my ring finger across the D, G, and B strings at the 5th fret. Okay, the next one I'm going to show you is a half diminished chord, half diminished voicing. I'm going to start here with my middle finger. It's going to look a lot like this, except that B string is going to be moved back a half step. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have my middle finger here on the 5th fret of the low E string, and then I'm going to put my ring finger on the 5th fret of the D string. Then I'm going to put my pinky on the 5th fret of the G string, and my index finger on the 4th fret of the B string. Kind of a tense sounding chord. And again, that's my middle finger on the root at the low E string at the 5th fret, my ring finger at the D string at the 5th fret, my pinky on the G string at the 5th fret, and my index on the B string at the 4th fret. Alright, and I forgot dominant. Let's go over dominant. So a dominant, this was a true shell voicing. This is just going to have a root, 3rd, and 7th in it. So my root note, obviously, if you haven't caught on by now, it's going to be at the 5th fret of the low E string. I'm going to use my index finger on this voicing. Then I'm going at the 5th fret. And then I'm going to use my middle finger on the 5th fret of the D string and my ring finger on the 6th fret of the G string. Resolving it out. So again, my index finger at the 5th fret of the low E string, my middle finger at the 5th fret of the D string, and my ring finger at the 6th fret of the G string. Okay, and the last voicing that I'm going to be teaching you is a fully diminished voicing. This is my favorite. I'm going to use my middle finger, put it on the 5th fret here at the low E string. at the root. Then I'm going to bar across the D string, the G string, and the B string with my index finger at the 4th fret. Then I'm going to use my ring finger and play that G string at the 5th fret. Very tense sounding chord. And I'll go over that voicing one more time. I got my middle finger here at the root at the low E string at the 5th fret. I'm barring across the D string, G string, and B string with my index finger, and I'm playing that G string at the 5th fret with my ring finger. And this chord is symmetrical. It just inverts itself every 3 frets. So up every 3 frets from here is just a different inversion of the chords, and it sounds really cool. Like. This is also really a good voicing that helps me see all my diminished arpeggios, things like that. All right, that does it for this lesson and Must Know Monday. Practice those voicings. Use those voicings and try to see your arpeggios inside of this, or use these voicings to help you see your arpeggios. As always, keep practicing, keep jamming. Tell your friends about Primetime Guitar, and if you haven't already, please, please, please hit subscribe.